Hi Rhonda,
Hi Martin.
can you tell me what was the challenge that led you to approach Careers and Employment Service in the first place?
Okay, well as part of Careers Success Coordinator for third year student nurses, one of the things that the life cycle team had been talking about was ways in which we could increase employability. We could think about increasing the ability of our students to present themselves in written communication and also in interview situations. Thinking about deconstructing advertisements, thinking about how they might address key selection criteria, and thinking really about longer term career management skills.
Rhonda, we see that a lot too in Careers and Employment. So it's not just nurses, we see that in a lot of students coming through who need some help either knowing how to promote themselves or where to promote themselves in the first place.
Sure.
Yeah. So can you just tell us a bit more about the background to how we came to be here?
Okay, so as part of the student life cycle, recognising that we need to develop some of our student skills in this area, one of the things that we decided to do was put on a series of seminars relating to employability skills, relating to service and industry. And so as part of that, I contracted the Careers and Employment Service, which resulted in you and I working together. And then you came to me, having done some background research, and we presented this project together.
It went really, really well. So should we talk a little bit about what we did?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to go for it?
I will. So I suppose on the back of that research, Rhonda, we were then able to tailor, I guess, the presentation a bit for the students. The seminars were run in two parts. One was resumes, essentially, to begin with, and the second one was cover letters and key selection criteria.
Yes.
In addition to the content of how to go about preparing an effective resume and how to write a persuasive letter and how to respond to selection criteria, so in addition to the mechanics of doing that, I guess the main message I was trying to get across to your students was how to think about the principles in them. So yes, the resume might have a particular format, but I really wanted them to understand there's not a right resume or a wrong resume, but an effective resume and ineffective resume. And to do that, we really had to have a dialogue.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I think on the day, the thing that made the seminars valuable to the students seemed to be that interaction with them based on, well, here's some content for you. Now, how would you apply that? How would you make sense? And let them Q&A myself.
Yes.
Which allowed me to fine-tune the delivery for them, but also I think it helped the students around them to develop some ideas and move forward as well.
I think one of the really valuable things was that on the day, Martin and I co-conducted the seminars. So very much Martin was there with his expertise in employability, and I was there to give the background on the nursing context and to help the students contextualise some of their experiences during their 3-year nursing programme and actually transfer some of that knowledge into what you would classify as key selection criteria. And I think that was some of the benefits of us really working together on this project. And certainly some of the students have come back to me and said that that was really helpful for them. They hadn't thought about, for example, using their assessment items to help them to write key selection criteria or to write their resumes.
Oh, and it was helpful for me too. Often we get questions, or I got questions. I remember one on a particular day with you, one of the young women at the back of the auditorium asked, is this right or could I do this? And I had no idea. It was content germane to nursing. And it was really good to have you in the room to answer that question, because there was a question that could only be answered by an expert in the field or the academic.
Sure.
So from my point of view, one of the successes of the Careers Seminar was very much having the academic in the room, or you in the room, to pick up on some of those ideas?
Yes, for sure. And I think going forward as well, one of the things that I've recognised is that importance of us working it together is thinking about how we would really embed this in the future and think about how we can perhaps scaffold further sessions and really make the students connect the link to this is my here and now, this is my career, and this is where I'm planning to get to.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Because I've said this before to other people, if you think of your career as a marathon, everything to do with resumes, cover letters, selection criteria, all that sort of marketing, promotional stuff is the first kilometre, really. There's so much more to developing a career and having a career that goes well beyond just getting the job or getting a job.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that we can provide a more holistic experience for the students. So I guess, Rhonda, in sort of bringing this around to a bit of a conclusion, what are the tips that you might have for other academics who are considering, making more of the employability type resources available to their students?
I think for me, firstly, being aware of you and aware of what you can offer, that was a good thing. So before we started, you came and met with me and we had a discussion about, nursing, what's the career likelihood for people. You brought with it an understanding of employability skills. I had the context knowledge, so sharing that and coming together, that was really important. I think from a student's perspective, understanding that it's not a lecture capture session was really something that came to me probably only after we'd done it. So the students were saying, I missed the session with yourself and Martin, can I catch up? But because you did it as a live session, it was something that was interactive. We actually created workshop materials. Those students that weren't there missed out. So I think really embedding that importance for them in the future would be very helpful.
And the live performance, if that's the right way to put it, has so much more than I think a lecture capture, because first of all, you've got the interaction and people bouncing off each other in the seminar.
Yes.
But also, from my point of view, it was interesting to hear the conversation between you and your students.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that being in the room and hearing that conversation, hearing the questions that students asked, provided you with some insight, perhaps, to maybe what your students need more of, but certainly how you might change those seminars going forward. Any other tips?
I think really one of the things about employability overall is for us thinking forward, and certainly we've since had a conversation on how can we really look at scaffolding further, and also thinking about what can we develop. So we're looking towards a joint project, perhaps with some videos and perhaps other skills sessions. So it's created more work than perhaps we anticipated.
Well, look, it probably has. I think from my point, Rhonda, the sorts of things that are encouraging for me is that there is a need out there for the students. And perhaps they don't know what they don't know yet. But if we can make this sort of information available to them in an easy way to get it, they'll want it, I think. And secondly, the preparedness from academics like yourself to want to provide more of the employability story.
Yes.
Past just resumes and cover letters, and actually introducing people to perhaps more of the enterprise skills that are underpinning so many careers these days.
Sure.
And I think that's really a positive thing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, thank you.